my son got thrown out of his class and he got a 1 hour detention today for calling his teacher Miss. Yeah, you heard me right. He called her Miss. She's a woman, yeah? She dresses like a woman. She speaks like a woman. She is a woman, okay? And he's called her Miss, and I've always taught him, you be respectful to your teachers. You be, if it's a woman, you call her Miss or Mrs. And if it's a man, you call them Mr. Oh no, not this time. This time, apparently, he's done wrong. You know why? Because she wants to be called Mix. Mix. He's come home and he's told me this. He said, Mum, I've been thrown out of my class. What for? Because my teacher said I've disrespected her because I called her Miss instead of Mix. Are you having a laugh? Are you actually having a laugh now? I am livid, right? I mean, I brought my children up. I've got 3 sons and I've brought all of them up to be respectful. Respect your elders. You call your woman Mrs. or Miss, and you call a man Mr., right? Always. I've always taught them that. That's what my parents have taught me. That's what, my parents' parents taught them. And now all of a sudden, they're getting taught at school, no, your parents have taught you wrong. Actually, I'm Mix. You need to call me Mix. No, I don't think so. I'm sorry. I respect the fact if you're, or if, you've turned into a woman or you turned into a man. I respect that, okay? I would never discriminate. I would never teach my children to do that. However, I don't get it. I'm confused and my son is confused. He's been punished at school for doing something that I've always taught him to be respectful, and he's been punished for being respectful, basically. No, I'm not having it. So I've emailed the school and the school have said to me, yep, your son's done wrong. He should have called her Mix. I'm sorry, what? No, I've had to email back to school and say, no, I need a meeting now. I need a meeting because I don't agree. I have brought my children up to call them, to respect their elders and call them Mrs., Miss or Mr. She's a woman. She's an absolute woman. She goes shopping. She wears dresses. She wears makeup. What the hell? What is Mix? Can someone please enlighten me, okay? And just give me a comment below and explain to me what the F is Mix. Mix. What is Mix? What mix what? You're a mixer? I mean, what mix? I mean, I understand when mix sometimes is when, you've got a mix like culture in you. That's different. But calling you Mix and then getting into trouble at school and getting thrown out of the classroom for not calling your teacher Mix and you've called her Mix. I mean, sorry, the other way around, you've called her Miss instead of Mix. Mate, honestly, I'm just absolutely pissed and this has gone too far now. I actually am so angry that I feel like taking my boy out of that school. I really, really, really do. I mean, I'm all for respect what, people's wishes and all of that. But listen, you're poisoning, I feel like, you're meant to be teaching my son, you're teaching him, you're educating him. What are you trying to educate? You're trying to educate my son that it's okay for you to be calling teachers Mix or, what? So imagine my son going to school, I'm a cat today. I want to be known as a cat. You've got to call me cat. Oh, I'm a dog today. I want to be known as a dog. You've got to call me a dog today. When is it going to end? When is it going to stop? When is it going to... It's seriously, it's getting ridiculous. It's getting ridiculous. And I am not happy. I'm not happy. I don't know, am I being old-fashioned? Give me a comment below. But I tell you what, they're not poisoning my son's brain into thinking that it's okay for a teacher to come in and say, well, today you're calling me Mix. Or tomorrow you're calling me a cat. Or the next day you're calling me a dog. No, not in my lifetime. It's not happening. And I will take him out of the school because no. I don't agree with it. My family doesn't agree with it. This is the way we are. I'm sorry, I respect other people. This is the way we are. And you are not going to tell my child and try and poison his brain with this. I don't know. Give me a comment below, guys, and let me know what you lot think. But, I'm not happy.
You know what? I completely and 100% understand her. You are trying to teach your kids one thing at home, and they are teaching them a completely different thing that is against what you taught them. which is not right, because they should really stay out of certain things and make sure they just educate them, teach them math, and teach them what they have to teach them, and keep away other subjects because it conflicts with household beliefs.
3 weeks ago, I went out on a second date with a man who stole my life, posted it on this app, and gained clout from it, and it is literally making me insane. Like, insane. I'm not gonna tell you guys who it is. I'm not gonna stop you guys from trying to investigate if people see this video, but I'm not gonna tell you who it is because my account is on like thin ice. But I will tell you that he is a failed stand-up comedian who tried to be in stand-up for like 10 years, and he looks really, really similar to a very successful comedian that has a Southern accent. We match on Hinge, which like, I know, but we match on Hinge. We go on 2 dates. The first date is like amazing. The second date, still pretty good, but by the second date, he had found my TikTok because he got my phone number. So we're sitting at the bar and he goes, hey, by the way, I found your TikTok. And I am literally like bracing for impact, right? Because I know I seem insane on my page. So I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for it, bring it on. And instead of being like any of my bop lore, any of my dating stories, the fact that I like a married man once, like, nope, didn't think about any of that. And he fixated on the one video that I had posted a while ago where I talked about going through chemo. He's like, yeah, I saw your video about going through chemo and like your medical issues and having Crohn's disease. And I'm literally like almost spit out my drink. I'm like, okay, we can talk about that, I guess. So he starts telling me about how he doesn't have Crohn's disease, but he has like similar issues, like with his like gastritis or something. Like he doesn't actually tell me what the issues were, but he like, which was already sus, but he's like telling me this like whole story about he's like gone through it and the pain and he's had like so many procedures and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, like I'm resonating with him. You know what I mean? Like he's sympathizing with me. He can understand a little bit of what I've been through. So I'm like, okay, I'm investing. And then he starts asking me a bunch of follow-up questions, right? Like he's asking me stuff like what was chemo like and how did that work for you with Crohn's disease instead of like cancer? Like he's just like asking me all these questions and I'm answering them because I'm like, oh my God, like I never really get to talk about this. And it's like, actually, it's a big part of my life because I have a chronic illness. So it's like nice to have somebody who wants to talk to me about it. Okay, anyways, we finish the date. We kiss, and then he drops me back at my place. He texts me later and he's like, hey, I had such a good time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like waiting to from him again. And then I don't, right? I don't. I've been ghosted by a 38-year-old stand-up comedian with an aggressively receding hairline, but that's not the point of the story. And then my friend messages me because I have told my friend about him because the dates went so well, and I had sent her his TikTok, like his social media. And she sends me a link to a video he posted where he talked about having Crohn's disease and going through chemo, and he used all of the details that I gave him in his video. Okay, not only that, like not only did he steal my own medical experience, but the other thing was that he had told me that he was divorced, which like in my age group is like not a big deal, but he'd been divorced for like many years. And I'm like, okay. And then right after a date, he was like, hey, I'm gonna be going out of town for like a week because I'm gonna be having a medical procedure and I'm gonna go home to my parents' house so they can kind of take care of me while I'm recovering. And I'm like, yeah, no, okay, that makes sense. But because my friend, he had blocked me, by the way, on everything. So I didn't see any of this because he had blocked me like right after the date. But my friend goes to his Instagram and sees that not only did he post that same story over there, but in the video, in the background was his wife. And I feel like insane. Like I feel like that's insane, right? This is why you're a failed stand-up comedian. Unless this is the comedy and like this is the funny part, just like really dark humor where you go out with somebody twice, invest in a relationship with them, get them to disclose to you your personal medical situation, then you steal that story, lie about being married, and then go out of town, block them on everything, and then ghost them, and then take that story and tell it like it's your own story with your wife in the background. I guess. Is that funny? I don't know. Is that funny? You guys, you can let me know in the comments if you think that that's funny. But I'm so angry right now. Like I'm so angry that I literally like be like pacing in my bathroom. Like men, yeah? Like
She goes on 2 dates with a guy from Hinge who seems super interested in her life, especially her health and struggles and chemos and Crohn's, then ghosts her later to find out that he's on video on social media retelling her story as if it was his own just to get some clout off of it. That is unbelievable, girl.
Hey, this is a PSA to anybody who has earrings. If you wear earrings, you might want to know this because I did not know this and it almost landed me in the hospital. So are you guys familiar with these little silicone earring backs that honestly usually come as like a secondary earring back with a lot of pairs of earrings? Well, in case nobody told you, let me be the first to tell you, these are not meant to be worn long term. A couple weeks ago, I decided I wanted to change the second lobe piercing on both sides. Now, these piercings were a set of like 15 or whatever pairs that I'd gotten from Amazon. They were stainless steel and they all came with flat backs on them. Now, I love a flat back earring back. I think they're great. They're really hard to put in by yourself. I even asked my fiance to help me and he couldn't figure it out either. So I went into like my old earring drawer and I found some of those silicone ones and I was like, okay, I'll just use these. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago when I decided I wanted to take those out. It had probably been like a month or two since I had put them in. I could not get them off. And I thought it was just a me thing. I thought it was a user error. Maybe I just like wasn't pulling at the right angle. Like I couldn't get them off and I could not figure out why. Well, I finally decided to just go into a piercing place and pay them to remove my jewelry. So I walk in yesterday and I say, hey, I'm here to have some jewelry removed. I can't get it removed for whatever reason. And the guy goes, oh, let me guess. It's one of those clear silicone backs. And I was like, yeah, how did you know? Well, apparently for whatever reason, those silicone backs let in a lot of like oil, grease from your hair, sweat, makeup, all the things. It kind of lets it in and it almost creates like a glue, like an adhesive. So if you wear those little clear backs for too long, it just like almost fuses to the back of your earring. So I'm starting to feel a little bit nervous and he goes, yeah, I will do my best to get it off. But just so you know, the last girl who came in for this, I had to send her to the hospital to get them taken off, like to get them cut out of her ears. That was the moment my inner narrator was like, in that moment, she knew she f***ed up. He did tell me, luckily for me, I had only had it in for, I think about 2 months at this point. So it hadn't like totally fused, but it was pretty challenging for him and a little bit painful, but honestly, worth every penny. All this to say, those little clear fasteners are really not meant to be used in your earrings for more than like a night or two. So don't leave them on too long, otherwise those just may become your new permanent earrings.
Oh my gosh, silicone earring backs? Who knew? I mean, here I was thinking like they're harmless little stoppers, right? But dang, they'll actually cling on like glue or a clingy ex that just won't let go. Can you imagine if that happened to you?